Using cracked plugins and DAWs might seem harmless, but it's screwing you over in ways you don't even realize. And I'm not talking about the legality of using pirated software, because let's be honest, the FBI isn't busting down the door of your home studio anytime soon. There is one type of person that I think pirated software is good for, so we're also gonna talk about that. Reason number one, value. Let me ask you this, why do we find muscular people attractive? There's a bunch of evolutionary reasons why, but let's imagine for a second that getting jacked was as easy as doing 20 push-ups. Do you think that in that imaginary scenario we would still value a person being muscular as much as we do now? Hell no, because then everybody would be jacked. It's the same with plugins. When you have access to almost every plugin ever created, you don't value each one as much individually. Let's say you work a 9 to 5 with the average American salary of $63,795. That comes down to around $35 for every hour you spend working. And the average plugin costs around twice that. So to get yourself a VST legitimately, you'd have to spend 2 hours of your life doing a job that, according to the statistics, you kind of hate. That, combined with the fact that you'll never be able to buy as many plugins as you can crack, makes a paid-for piece of software much more valuable. But why do I think that valuing the plugins that you have is so important? Well, because you learn how to use them. You learn their specifics inside and out, and you start knowing exactly when to use what. And you only know that because you are patient and didn't get distracted by the other 300 plugins in your library that do a similar thing. Speaking of the other 300 plugins, reason number 2 is option paralysis. Imagine you grab your guitar and you sit down at your computer, set up a track to hear yourself, and which amps do you use? You have all the Neuro DSP stuff, all the ML SoundLab stuff, all the STL tone stuff. You're trying to decide, and before you know it, you're dead. Your time on this earth has run its course. You spend it trying to choose a plugin. Nice life. But it doesn't have to be this way. If you only had, let's say, 3 plugins which you didn't buy all at once, so you knew exactly what each one of them does, it would have been way easier for you to just pick the one that you were feeling the most that day. But on the other hand, there is one reason that I think pirated plugins are actually good.
This video does not endorse or encourage piracy. The content is for educational, entertainment, and informational purposes only.
Piracy makes being a beginner accessible. If 13-year-old me had to somehow scrounge up $400 to buy a copy of Ableton, I would have probably not bothered making music at all. Hell, that $60 price tag of Reaper was too much for me back then. That still evaluating button was like my best friend. But although a semi-acceptable solution for a broke underage beginner, piracy is not under any circumstance something that you should stick with for the long run. At least if you want to be professional. I work as a video editor, as my day job, and I also have some freelance clients. When I do that, I do not use pirated software. I offer a service, I ask for money in return, and so it only makes sense that with part of the money that I earn, I pay for the tools that I use to get the job done. If you wanted to start a lawn mowing business, you wouldn't just go to Home Depot and steal a lawnmower, so why would you do that with software? One of my goals for the future is to make this YouTube channel my main source of income. I enjoy doing this a lot, and I hope to do it full time someday. And a big part of creating these videos is making music for them. Since I want to be professional, I want to take that music making seriously, and using cracked software just seems disrespectful to the work that I do. And dude, software is not that expensive. Yes, if you had to actually buy your entire library of cracked plugins that is currently using your GPU to mine Ethereum as we speak, that wouldn't be pretty. But if you actually spend some time thinking of what you really need to make your music happen, it's not that much. You do not need the most decked out full feature version of your DAW, for example. If I wanted to buy the most expensive suit version of Ableton Live, I would have had to spend around 600 euros. But since I already own a MIDI keyboard that comes with a light license, I can just buy the upgrade from light to standard, which is like $200. And around Black Friday it was like $100. That's like $500 savings. I would strongly recommend taking a look at the features list of the different versions of your DAW so you actually make the right choice for your needs. And also check if the gear you already have came with any licenses, because although the licenses that come with gear are usually not enough to get by, buying an upgrade will probably be cheaper than buying a whole new license. And as far as plugins go, if you narrow your list down to the 4 or 5 that you actually need and use and cannot substitute with a free one, well then you just have to wait for them to go on sale and buy them. And if you want to check out some free plugins that are absolutely amazing for making metal, well, you should check out that video here. It should be popping up right there. Yeah, click on it, see that, thank you, subscribe, bye bye.